Opening. The mystery. Happening right now. You lie down at the end of the day, your body finally slowing down, your mind beginning to drift, and almost like a ritual you no longer question, your cat appears. It does not hesitate. It walks toward you with quiet certainty, circles once, sometimes twice, and then settles in the exact same place, right between your legs. You adjust slightly, thinking it is just another one of those random habits cats have. Something simple, something meaningless. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people never stop to consider. What if it is not random at all? Researchers who study feline behavior have observed something very clear over the years. Cats do not choose positions by accident. Every place they rest, every angle they take, every moment they decide to settle is influenced by instinct, memory, and perception. What looks like a casual choice is often a calculated decision shaped by thousands of years of survival patterns. And that includes the moment your cat chooses your body as a resting ground. Now think about this carefully. Out of every possible place in the room, your cat consistently returns to the same spot on you. Not beside you, not near your feet, exactly between your legs. This is not convenience, this is precision, and precision always has a reason. Specialists in animal behavior explain that cats constantly scan their environment, even when they appear relaxed. They read heat, movement, vulnerability, and safety in ways humans rarely notice. Your body, in that moment, becomes more than just a place to rest. It becomes a map, a structure, a living space that your cat evaluates and chooses based on criteria you are not even aware of. And here is where most people get it wrong. They assume it is just affection, just closeness. But what is happening there goes deeper. There is instinct involved. There is emotional meaning. There is strategy, all happening silently, right in front of you, every single day. So the next time your cat lies there, do not dismiss it as a simple habit. Because what looks ordinary may actually be one of the clearest messages your cat is sending you. And today, you are going to understand exactly what that message means. Once you see it, you will not look at this behavior the same way again. Breaking the illusion. It is not just affection. Most people look at this behavior and immediately label it as affection. It feels natural to think your cat is simply being loving, seeking closeness, enjoying your presence. That interpretation is comfortable, almost reassuring. But specialists in feline behavior consistently point out something that challenges this idea. Cats do not operate on simple emotional impulses the way humans do. What looks like pure affection is often a layered behavior shaped by instinct, survival, and subtle emotional logic. Researchers who study domestic cats have observed that physical closeness is rarely just about connection. It is about function. It is about what that position provides in terms of safety, awareness, and control. When your cat chooses to lie between your legs, it is not only choosing you, it is choosing a strategic position that satisfies multiple needs at the same time. This is where the illusion begins to break. Because if it were only affection, your cat would choose any place near you, your side, your chest, your feet. But that is not what happens. There is a pattern, a very specific one, and patterns in feline behavior are never accidental. Experts explain that cats combine instinct and emotional association in a way that is difficult to notice without careful observation. They seek warmth, but not just any warmth. They seek safety, but not just any safe spot. They seek connection, but only under conditions that align with their internal sense of control. This means that what you are witnessing is not a single reason. It is a combination of factors working together. And here is what makes this even more intriguing. Some of these reasons are so subtle that even experienced cat owners overlook them for years. Because the behavior feels simple, it is easy to underestimate it. But once you start to understand how cats actually make decisions, that simplicity disappears. So the next time your cat settles into that exact position, do not assume it is just a sign of love. There is something deeper guiding that choice. Something built into the way cats perceive the world and their place within it. And once you see that, you begin to realize that this small, quiet habit is far more intentional than it appears. Which leads to the first reason that explains everything more clearly than most people expect. Reason 1. the intelligent thermal refuge. When your cat chooses to lie between your legs, it is not just looking for warmth. It is selecting one of the most efficient thermal zones your body can offer. Studies of feline thermoregulation, observed by researchers in animal physiology, show that cats are extremely sensitive to subtle variations in temperature. They do not just seek heat. They seek stability. The area between your legs creates something unique. It forms a natural pocket where body heat is retained, protected from external airflow, and distributed evenly. Your thighs act like barriers, reducing heat loss and creating what specialists describe as a microclimate, a small, controlled environment where warmth remains consistent over time. Now consider how a cat experiences this. In the wild, maintaining body temperature is not just about comfort. It is about conserving energy. Every unnecessary loss of heat requires effort to recover. So over time, cats developed an instinct to identify and prioritize places where heat is both available and stable. Your body, in that specific position, becomes exactly that. But here is the detail most people miss. If it were only about warmth, your cat would settle anywhere on you. Yet it does not. It chooses that exact spot because it offers something more refined. It is not the warmest point. It is the most efficient one. Experts in animal behavior explain that cats constantly balance comfort with energy conservation. They look for places where they can rest deeply without needing to adjust or move frequently. Between your legs, the temperature remains steady, your movements are predictable, and the environment feels controlled. This is not a random choice. It is a precise response to conditions your cat has learned to recognize and trust. A silent calculation that happens in seconds, but is rooted in instinct shaped over generations. And once you understand this, you begin to see that your cat is not just seeking closeness, it is choosing the smartest place to rest, which raises an even more important question. If your cat is this precise about comfort, what else is it calculating when it chooses that position? Reason 2. The blind spot of protection. When a cat decides to rest, it is never a moment of complete vulnerability. Even in sleep, part of its awareness remains active. Studies from specialists in animal behavior show that cats are biologically wired to evaluate risk before they allow themselves to relax. Rest, for them, is only possible when a certain level of control over the environment is maintained. This is where the position between your legs reveals something deeper. It is not just comfortable, it is strategic. When your cat lies there, it is placing itself in a zone that limits exposure from multiple angles. Your legs act as natural barriers, reducing the number of directions from which something unexpected could approach. What you see as a simple posture, your cat experiences as controlled protection. Researchers who observe feline resting patterns explain that cats instinctively seek positions where their blind spots are minimized. In open spaces, they tend to curl up against objects or walls. On elevated surfaces, they choose edges that give them visibility. And when they use your body, they apply the same logic. Between your legs, they gain a sense of enclosure without losing awareness. But there is another layer most people overlook. By positioning itself there, your cat is not only protecting itself, it is also anchoring to you as a stable reference point. Your scent, your warmth, your presence all signal familiarity. In the animal world, familiarity reduces perceived threat. And reduced threat allows deeper rest. Experts explain that this combination creates what can be described as a living shield. Your body becomes both a barrier and a signal of safety. Not because your cat consciously thinks of you as a protector, but because its instincts associate your presence with a predictable and controlled environment. This changes the way you see that moment. It is no longer just your cat choosing to be close. It is your cat choosing a position where it can finally let its guard lower, even if only partially. And if your cat trusts that position enough to rest there, it reveals something even more subtle. Because protection alone does not explain why it chooses you specifically. There is another reason, one that goes beyond instinct and begins to touch something far more personal. Reason 3. The bond few cats truly show. Not every cat does this. And that detail changes everything. Researchers who study feline social behavior have observed that physical closeness in cats is highly selective. Unlike dogs, cats do not distribute affection freely. They choose, they evaluate, they build associations over time, and only when those associations reach a certain level of trust do they allow themselves to relax in such proximity. When your cat lies between your legs, it is not just occupying a space, it is accepting a level of vulnerability that it would not allow in just any environment. Experts in animal behavior explain that this type of positioning often appears in cats that have formed a strong emotional bond with their human. Not because they think like humans, but because they associate that specific person with safety, predictability, and emotional stability. This is not about dependency. It is about recognition. Your cat has learned through repeated experience that being close to you in that exact way does not result in threat, discomfort, or unpredictability. And in the feline world, that is rare and valuable. Trust, for a cat, is not given lightly. It is built through consistency, routine, and subtle interactions that most people never notice. There is also a deeper layer that specialists often highlight. Cats communicate through proximity more than through overt gestures. They do not need constant attention or exaggerated displays. Instead, they choose moments. Specific, quiet moments where their behavior says more than any visible action. Lying between your legs is one of those moments. It is a position that combines comfort, safety, and something less obvious. A silent acknowledgement, not of ownership, not of submission, but of connection. A connection formed not by words, but by presence repeated over time. And this is where many people misunderstand their cats. They look for affection in obvious forms and miss the ones that matter most. Because for a cat, choosing to be that close in that specific way is already a statement. But even this is not the full picture. Because while trust explains part of the behavior, it does not explain the precision of that choice. There is still another layer hidden beneath it. A layer that has nothing to do with emotion and everything to do with control. Reason 4. Control and territorial presence. What looks like affection can also be a quiet form of control. Researchers in feline territorial behavior have long observed that cats do not need to display dominance in obvious ways. They do it through positioning, repetition, and presence. Subtle actions that most people overlook, but that carry clear meaning in the animal world. When your cat chooses to lie between your legs, it is not just resting. It is placing itself in a central point of your body, a position that gives it influence over movement, access, and space. Experts explain that cats naturally gravitate toward areas where they can monitor and subtly regulate their environment. And your body, in that moment, becomes part of that environment. This is not dominance in the aggressive sense. It is spatial control, a behavior rooted in the instinct to define and maintain territory. Cats use scent glands located on their bodies to mark spaces, but they also use repeated contact and presence to reinforce familiarity. By returning to that same spot over and over, your cat is creating a pattern. And patterns, in feline behavior, are how territory is established without conflict. There is also a strategic advantage in that position. From there, your cat can feel your movements before they fully happen. Small shifts in muscle tension, changes in breathing, subtle adjustments. This allows it to remain aware without needing to stay fully alert. It is a state of relaxed control where nothing catches it completely off guard. Specialists often describe this as a balance between rest and awareness. Your cat is not just sleeping. It is maintaining a quiet connection to its surroundings. And by choosing that specific position, it ensures that connection remains stable and predictable. This reframes the behavior in a way most people never consider. Your cat is not simply seeking comfort or expressing affection, it is also establishing a presence. A silent claim that says this space, this moment, is part of its world. And yet, even control does not fully explain why this behavior repeats with such consistency. Because there is something deeper influencing it. Something tied not just to instinct or territory, but to memory itself. Reason 5. The behavior that changes everything. There is one layer of this behavior that most people never consider, because it is not visible. It is not something you can see in the moment. It is something your cat carries within its memory. Researchers who study feline cognition explain that cats form strong associations between specific actions and emotional states, not in a complex human way, but in a consistent, pattern-based way that shapes their behavior over time. When your cat chooses to lie between your legs, it may not be reacting only to the present moment. It may be responding to a series of past experiences that have taught it that this exact position leads to something important. Calm, stability, predictability. A state where nothing unexpected happens and where its senses can finally soften without risk. Experts in animal behavior often highlight that cats repeat behaviors that lead to positive internal states, not just physical comfort, but emotional balance. And over time, those behaviors become rituals. Actions that the cat returns to, especially during moments when it seeks reassurance or deeper rest. Now think about when this usually happens. When you are lying down, when your body is still, when your breathing slows. These are signals your cat reads with precision. Signals that indicate a safe window. A moment where the environment becomes quiet enough for it to enter a deeper state of rest. But here is where it becomes more meaningful. That position is not just associated with safety in general. It is associated with you, with your presence, your routine, your consistency. Your cat has learned through repeated experience that being there, in that exact place, during that exact moment, creates a reliable emotional state. This is not coincidence. It is conditioning shaped by memory. And this changes everything, because it means your cat is not just choosing a spot. It is choosing a feeling, a state it has learned to trust. A moment where the outside world fades and everything becomes predictable. So when your cat settles between your legs, it is not only reacting to warmth, protection, or control. It is returning to something familiar, something that has worked before, something that, in its world, represents a kind of quiet certainty. And once you understand that, you begin to see that this behavior is not just about where your cat lies. It is about what that place means. Final revelation: what your cat really feels about you. At this point, it becomes impossible to see this behavior the same way. What once looked like a simple habit now reveals layers that were always there, just unnoticed. Warmth, protection, trust, control, memory. None of these exist in isolation. They converge in a single, quiet action that repeats itself with precision. Researchers and specialists in feline behavior consistently emphasize one principle. Cats do not express meaning through grand gestures. They express it through consistency, through what they choose to repeat when no one is paying attention. And this behavior, more than most, carries that quiet consistency. When your cat lies between your legs, it is not sending a single message. It is revealing a combination of instincts and associations that have aligned in one place. Your body becomes a source of stability, a controlled environment, a reference point that your cat has learned to rely on. Not because it needs you in a human sense, but because it recognizes what you represent within its world. This is where many people misunderstand their cats. They look for obvious signs of affection and overlook the ones that require interpretation. But experts explain that for a cat, choosing proximity under controlled conditions is one of the clearest forms of acceptance it can offer. It is a behavior that says, this space is safe, this presence is predictable, this moment can be trusted. And there is something almost philosophical in that, because your cat is not evaluating you through words or intentions. It is evaluating you through experience, through every moment that reinforced safety instead of threat, calm instead of unpredictability. Over time, those moments shaped a pattern, and that pattern led your cat to that exact position. So the next time this happens, do not see it as a small, insignificant detail. See it as a convergence of everything your cat has learned about you. A silent confirmation that, in its perception, you are part of a stable world. And once you understand that, something shifts. You stop asking why your cat does it, and you start recognizing what it means. Engagement. The question that changes how you see your cat. Now that you understand what is really happening, the next time your cat chooses that exact position, you will notice something different. Not just where it lies, but how it settles, how it adjusts, how it seems to know that this is the place where everything aligns. Specialists in animal behavior often explain that awareness changes perception. Once you understand the meaning behind a behavior, you stop seeing it as random and start recognizing patterns that were always there. And this is one of those moments, a behavior so common, yet so rarely understood. So think about your cat for a second. Does it do this every night, almost like a ritual? Does it choose that position only with you or with no one else? These details matter more than most people realize, because they reveal how your cat distinguishes between environments, between people, between levels of trust and familiarity. And here's the question that most people have never asked themselves. If your cat could choose any place in the room, any surface, any corner, why does it keep choosing you in that exact way? Not once, not occasionally, but repeatedly, with precision. Researchers who observe feline patterns highlight that repetition is never accidental. It is a signal, a form of communication that does not rely on sound or visible expression. It relies on choice. So now that you see it differently, this behavior stops being just something your cat does. It becomes something your cat is telling you. And I want you to tell me this. Does your cat do this every time you lie down or only in specific moments? And now that you know what is behind it, does that change the way you feel when it happens?